the cinema because I don't have a table, so I've actually gone to the common where the kitchen is, and there is a TV in the background. So, but of course I've got it's sort of facing me, the camera, so you can't actually see the coverage. But yeah, but at least I can see the screen, and I can use that to update the predictions. Of course, I could just use a live scoreboard, but I think it's just better to have a TV screen. It's just a bit easier. It's also going to be in real time as well. If you use the scoreboard, the score won't be exactly in real time. It'll be slightly out, 2 or 3 points potentially. So I've got Sabalenka at 82.5%, and if you break that down. Break that down. So I've got Sabalenka straight sets 53.8%, to win in 3 sets 28.7%, and for Krejcikova straight sets 7.1% and 3 sets 10.4%. And that's of course that's assuming constant probabilities. Krejcikova 56.7% winning point on serve, and Sabalenka 63.9% winning points. So assuming constant probabilities, that then equates to a game, to a set, and to a match, and that's how I get the breakdown of winning in straight sets or winning 3 sets. And that's exactly so. Assuming those constant probabilities from the outset, everything else is exact. Of course, yes, we have to use constant probabilities. So I can get a lot of detail, but I won't worry about that at this point in time. I might talk about the detail a little bit later in terms of the number of games played, the number of games remaining, standard deviation, coefficient of excess kurtosis, in case you're interested. So Krejcikova won the first game, so I can just update that. It's also 15 love. I've just got to update that. I've got to change servers. And so it's now 78.1% Sabalenka. Yeah, 71.8%. If I just go back, I had dropped. So it was 82.5% from the outset. Krejcikova won the first set, and it's now 15:30. And it's now 80.7% Sabalenka. So yeah, I can remember time. Now technically I should be using a Bayesian formula. I have integrated that into my calculator, but I'm going to have to know the percentage of points won on serve, and it's just too difficult to manually do without the match statistics, and even then it would be a little bit of an exercise to enter the match statistics, percentage of points won on serve or return serve for each player. So I won't worry about the Bayesian. Cheers. I'm just having a cup of tea at the same time. Might as get yourself comfortable, you know. I don't know how long it's going to take the match. Incidentally, this is on hard court. If it was to play it on, say, grass, assuming that scoreline 72.9% Sabalenka, on clay 75% Sabalenka, but on hardcourt 80.7%. So Sabalenka plays best on hardcourt, just based on that, or at least relative to Krejcikova. So I managed to put the two on one screen. So I've got Restream, and I've also got the calculator, so I can operate both at the same time. And so I'm assuming I could do this if I could do this on an iPad, which I probably could. Assuming there's sort of enough screen space. I don't know how you I'm assuming you can just use your finger as a mouse somehow on a pad. So I should be able to operate this wherever I am, even out of the tennis. I don't need a laptop technically, but it's just going to take time to settle it up. Oh yeah, okay. So it's one game all. Problem with this is, if you keep updating all the time, it just takes time. And so it's now shifted. It's now 83.4%. Sabalenka. And so ideally, yes, you want to trace how the predictions unfold every game, or even point by point, and even graph that. And that's what I did when I was working for a company called Infoplan, which was multimedia. And I did all the prediction models. We had this running on Yahoo 7, so I thought that was pretty good, and it got a very large amount of traffic. So everyone's interested in my predictions. That was shown through the fact that they were looking at that through, or whether they're just looking at the scoreboard. But I think that people would look at everything. That's what multimedia is. You want statistics, you want graphics, you want predictions, and you want the scoreboard. Good thing about this setup is, yes, I could also access data. I could go to the Australian Open site. I've got an on-court software package I could get data from. Obtain the data, which it may take a bit of time. That's the only thing. You need stuff easily accessible in software where you can just very easily, pull down any statistic and filter and so on. So, but I can get access to data. That's not a problem. And so if we look at you might be interested in the number of sets remaining in the match. It's coming in at 2.38 sets remaining in the match. Standard deviation 0.49. I don't know. Coefficient of excess kurtosis negative 1.75. What does all that mean? Well, that's that's the graph. So you have your distribution, and of course the probabilities. The area under the curve is going to sum to 1 in a probability distribution, and so you might say, well, what is your probability? So you define your sort of your random variable, and that might be say the number of sets played in the match, or the number of sets remaining in the match. And then you say, well, what's the probability? That's obviously a discrete distribution. And so you need to define what is the mean number of sets, and so you have this kind of you don't always get the mean number. You've got a variance and a standard deviation square of the variance, and it's also could be skewed. If it's right skewed, then it's going to be positive. Left skewed, sort of negative. Students coming in at 1.5. So. And that's typically the case. So if you look at let's suppose we look at the number of points. So let's just take an example. Just going to enter the score line. Oh no, what is the score line? I don't know what the score line is. It's coming up on the screen. Service games 1, AO. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's 2-1 Sabalenka. Okay, so it's 2-1 Sabalenka, and Sabalenka on the serve. So winning to love 16.7%. Krejcikova winning to love 1.7%. Then we might say, what about winning to 15? Well, it's 24.1% Sabalenka, 4.3% Krejcikova. We could also do the same for winning to 30. winning to deuce, winning to the second deuce, third deuce. So you've got this distribution of the different outcomes. And of course, you're either going to win 4, 5, 6, so win to love, win to 15, or win to 30, 4, 5, 6 points, or you're going to win to deuce, which gives you 8 points. You have to get to deuce, 3 points each to get to deuce. So win to deuce, and then you can't win 9 points, but you can win 10 points because you have to be 2 points ahead. So you go deuce, advantage, either play it, and then back to deuce. So you can win 10, 12, 14, and so you end up with this tail. And so you might say, so your random variable is what is the number of points played in the game. And of course, the outcomes are either going to be 4, 5, 6, 8. And so what is the probability of getting 4 points played, 5 points played, 6 points played? And I can give you that exactly. So the probability of actually playing 4 points is actually 18.4%. And that occurs either play when you love. So either Sabalenka or the Krejcikova win to love, which is what I calculated previously. And then what's the probability of playing 5 points? 28.4%, 6 points, 8, 10, and they all have to sum to give 1 or 100%. And so you get this distribution for each particular outcome. That's 4, 5, 6. And so you might say, well, yeah. So what are you going to end up with? Well, you might look at, I don't know. You might look at the mode. What is the most likely? The most likely is actually 6 points played, 28.7%, compared to 5 points is only 28.4%. But what is your average number of points? Yeah, the mean number of points, and you can calculate. So the mean is 6.26. That is a 6.26 number of points played, even though 6 is the most likely outcome. And then you get the, but then you've got variation amount of 6. You can also calculate the median as well. And then you get standard deviation 2.43 or variance, square of the standard deviation 5.89. And because it's right skewed, you've got a skewness 2.24 and kurtosis or excess kurtosis 7.49. And so what we're talking is in terms of risk. So even though it might finish in the most likely of say 6 points or the mean number, it might go for 16, it might go for 18. It might go for 30 points. It's got a high amount of risk involved, again, because of the juice. And that's why you get quite a large kurtosis. I've used excess kurtosis because it has a normal distribution has an excess kurtosis of 0 compared to a kurtosis of 3. I'm talking about the coefficient of excess or kurtosis. And now, so how do you calculate that? Well, I've done all this in spreadsheets, but you can typically apply. You can set up your using say generating functions or moment generating functions, calculating the Q1, taking a log of the moment, and then calculating your higher order moments, calculating the various derivatives. That's the typical method used to calculate your moments. And once you calculate the moments or your cumulants, you can then variously calculate your characteristics of distribution. It sounds complex, but yeah, it really is not that difficult. It's just a whole lot of formulas. The kind of understanding what it all means is a bit complex. But it's a very interesting teaching exercise, and you can set all this up, and you can see the graphical interpretation of all this as a graph, or at least the distribution of a graph. And that's what I've done in my calculator. And I mean, I can pretty much do anything. I've done points in the game. I've got games in a set. I've got sets in the match. I've got the time. I've got the number of points remaining in the match. I've also got the time remaining in the match. So it's just a matter of setting up the model and so yeah. So I've used typically the normal power approximation. Once you calculate these first 4 moments, you can use your what's called the normal power approximation. It's just a formula to give you distribution when you can't typically calculate the distribution using mathematical methods. It's just too much. It's just the Markov chain, the state space is just too big. So you sort of end up using approximation formulas, or you could run a simulation, but it's better to use approximation algebraic techniques than use simulation. Okay, so a 3-1 Sabalenka upper break. In fact, she's up 30 love. on the Krejcikova serve, and she's now up to 91.1% to win the match. So, which is what you expect. So she's up a break, and not only up a break, but she's also up 30 love. It's now 30-15, and at 90%, and now it's dropped to 90.5%. What was it? It was previously at love 30, it was 91.1, but at 15:30, it is 90.5. And so you can see why. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? If you measure the difference between each point, it's measured what's called the importance of points. Affects how much difference occurs from each point, depending on whether you win or lose. And that's why typically 30-40, the most important point of the game, makes the most difference to the outcome of the match in terms of the game, and of course tiebreak sets. So when the matches get close at the end of games, sets and matches, it's measured by importance, which is just a mathematical formula. So the points in a tennis match have different value. So you're better off winning the important points rather than the unimportant points. When you win the first point of the match, has little outcome to the match, but winning obviously points in a tiebreak game can have a big effect. It's just the structure of a tennis match with the different levels of nesting. Can I show this calculator? Well, I could. I could on my. I had a setup where I could switch between screens between the calculator. It's a process. Unless I fine tune that process, yeah, I'll worry about that later. It's. I mean, at the end of the day, I can put this calculator on my website. People just download the calculator. Do I need to demonstrate it? I guess they have to then manually enter the scoreboard. It's anything. Can we automate it? Well, yeah, of course, anything is possible. But yeah, even when I was working in InfoPlum, that was quite a process. And not only that, we get it in real time as well. I mean, it was probably 3 points out of date. It wasn't actually in real time, the predictions. And ideally, you want it in real time. Okay, so 4-1. So she breaks a Sabalenka 4-1, and now goes to a 92.2% to win the match. So she started. What did she start on? 80. I can't remember. She started on. I'll just rewind it. Yeah, she started on 82.5%, and now up 4-1 has jumped to 92.2%. So she's almost gained 10% in winning the match by bringing up a couple of breaks. So she's basically won the set. And of course, being the dominant player, you can pretty much assume she's won the set, and that's why it has jumped. In fact, if we put in, let's suppose we put in that she does actually win the set, then she then goes to 92.9. So it makes very little difference. The fact that she's up 4-1, she's pretty much won the set. So being up 4-1 and winning the set makes very little difference because the points are not very important now. Because she's pretty much won the set, so you can see what I'm sort of getting at when I talk about importance. And so it's basically a waste of time playing the rest of the set. Yeah, might well just start the second set. Yeah, it's like being up 40-love on the serve. Why bother playing the rest of the game? The serve is pretty much going to win. Pretty much all the time. I don't know. Why waste time? Just go out and get something to eat. Maybe go down to the shops or something and come back and watch the next game. So yeah, tennis is a very inefficient scoring system from that aspect. But anyway. Okay, so we're back at 4-1, and so you can see that the chance of actually winning. So she's got a 72.1% chance of winning straight set Sabalenka and winning the set, like I was talking about, 98.2% of actually winning the set. Winning the match 92.1%. Winning the game on a serve 81.1%, and winning a point. Well, I'm not using Bayesian, so it's just a constant 63.9% of winning a point. Of course, I can project things. I can say, well, given we're at 4-1, what's the chance of say getting to a tiebreak game? and I can actually put that in. So it's actually 2.5% of getting to a tiebreak game. And I can put in any scoreline. So I can put in any scoreline and then project a scoreline. And so what's the chance of getting to that projected scoreline given a scoreline? So we can do, we can pretty much do anything. Now, in terms of time remaining in the match, well, that depends on the time to play a point, which I've put as 8 seconds. It may be slightly less, but the chance of going more than 2 hours, 4.8%. Chance of going more than half an hour, 97.7%. Chance of going more than an hour. I've just done it like that. I could use what's the chance of getting less and so on. I can put in the distribution, but I've just put in the chance of going more. I feel that's a more kind of meaningful statistic. And so given that it's only 4.8%, so from this point in time, you'd expect the match to be over in less than 4 hours. And in fact, the mean time in the match is 1.22 hours. Remaining in the match. But of course, it's got a standard deviation and a skewness and an excess kurtosis. So the excess kurtosis is 0.03 hours. I mean, yeah, of course, you guys wanted to know that, so that's what I told you. Yeah, the coefficient of variation, no, it's somewhat dimensionless. I don't even quite understand this, actually, to be honest. What is it? Is it the standard deviation of the mean, the coefficient of variation? But it's dimensionless. I know, it's like using radians in trigonometry rather than degrees. Like 90 degrees is pi and 2 radians, because pi and 2 is dimensionless, so you can switch that to hours. So I believe you can't talk about 0.44 hours, but you can talk about the coefficient of variation as 0.36 hours because it's dimensionless. Maybe it means something like that. I'm going to have to check on that. So what do we use standard deviation? Yeah, I'm going to have to, need to talk to a lead actuary or something. I've worked with a number of actuaries, mind you. I've done a lot of this kind of mathematics. Yeah, so it's pretty much all sort of probability theory and generating functions. So, if you're interested in studying this sort of stuff, well, yeah, just do actuarial studies. Macquarie, I think Macquarie offer actuarial studies. Probably University of Melbourne, probably. So 4-2 Sabalenka, 15 love Krejcikova serving. Sabalenka 94.6% to win the match, slightly dropped because Krejcikova won a game. Win the match 90.8%. And sets remaining in the match 2.29. Which is what you'd pretty much expect, yeah, and that's what you'd expect, of course. Sabalenka to win in straight sets, but of course, she may drop a set, and that's why we get the sort of the 2.29. So obviously, yeah, you don't end up with 2.29 sets. It's a long-term average. Most of the time you're going to get 2, but sometimes you get 3. So it's a long-term 2.29. If that kind of makes sense. I know some people that struggle to understand that kind of concept. And so, and again, we can just break that down. So Sabalenka winning straight sets, 69.4%. If Krejcikova made an all-time comeback in this set, 1.4% to win in straight sets, and 21.4% Sabalenka 3 sets, Krejcikova 7.8% 3 sets. And so you can see, yes, most likely, of course, Sabalenka straight sets. But I think maybe it's a combination. Yes, given the predictions are good, but maybe just talking about stuff. I don't know, the court surface, talking about the speed of the courts, the different surfaces, the history of the game. I think that's also quite interesting as well. And that's what commentators don't really talk about. I mean, whoever mentions raw tennis or pickleball for that matter, how they sort of integrate with tennis. I think commentators in general are just boring. Cheers, I'm just having this quite nice sort of herbal tea on board. Okay, so 5-2, 5-2. Now Sabalenka serving 99.2% to win the set, 19.6 to win the match, and to win the game or the next game, to win the set, she's got 81.1%, and to reach a tiebreak from here, 1.4%. And I don't know, what's the chance of reaching juice on a serve? Well, we can just predict that. 24.5% of reaching juice. What about reaching a second juice? 11.3. Another juice, 5.2. And you can see it's just going to drop off. 2.4. Next juice, 1.1. Or 8 points all. I don't know. If we go to 13 points all, well, it's just 0.0. So it's basically doesn't. You don't typically get those a juice going that long, but you can see how it just sort of is. It's a geometric tail, and so you can just calculate that. It's just forward recursion in an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so she won the point. So she went from 9.6 to 2.7, just by winning the first point of the match. Every point matters, right? Okay, 30 love. Probably won't make much difference. Oh yeah, 19.8%. And 99.8% chance of now winning the set. Reaching a tie break from this position is 0.3%. Of reaching a tie break game. So I don't know. Is this kind of boring doing this? Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, to be doing this for hours. The other problem is it's hard to concentrate on watching the match. So you're going to be updating the scoreboard and talking, and I guess you can't really focus on watching the match. So yeah, it's basically a job. But I'm not actually getting paid. But does anyone actually get paid using YouTube? I think if you had enough followers, I think you do get paid, but I don't know, it probably wouldn't be much. Incidentally, if I just go to Encore, if I go to what I can do is I can sort of break up the history between Sabalenka and Krejcikova, just I don't know, just for something to do. Okay, so they played 6 matches, and Sabalenka 5-1 match record. And if you break that down, she got three on hard court, 1 on clay, and 1 on indoor hard court. And the match that Krejcikova won was on hard court. The match that Krejcikova won was in the quarters, I don't know, at the Dubai Championships. And even then, she lost the first set and ended up winning 7-6, 6-1. So even then. And so Sabalenka, current rank 2, Krejcikova current rank 11. I don't know. I'm assuming that would be roughly the same in the Australian Open. I think she got to number 1, Sabalenka. Is that number 1? I don't know what that means. I think she got to number 1. In terms of tiebreak records, yeah, so the only tiebreak that they played was the one that Krejcikova won when she beat Sabalenka. That was the only tiebreak they played, and of course, Krejcikova won that. And one of the matches occurred they never played in the final, but one occurred in the semis, and that was Sabalenka, of course, won that in Linz, Austria. In Austria, they also played in the US Open quarterfinals, US Open 2021. Sabalenka straight sets, 6-1, 6-4. So yeah, do they give this information? Probably not. They probably do give it on, but they don't sort of break it down. So I'm just getting it from Encore. Encore is very good software. It just has all the data. So it's not that much. You can just purchase you can get a lifetime license, €170 or something. In fact, I can probably bring it up now if you really want to know. Where do I go? About. Oh, no. I think you have to go. I think you have to go to the website, but it's not much, and it's a lifetime license. So after a year, you don't have to sort of renew it. And so it's just a fantastic piece of software. So if you're listening to the Baron giving his commentary, and you want to get the data, then you can access the data. The thing it doesn't have is it doesn't have live match statistics. I don't think. No, it's got live scoring on it. Okay, yeah, so it's got live scoring. It's got live scoring, which seems to be, yes, 40-15, 6-2. So it seems to be in real time. Incidentally, there's a junior match being played between Pastakova and Tyra Katarina Grant. There's no men's match, and there's 2 juniors going on in the men's. There's also a whole lot of challenger events at, satellite, a junior level. It's not junior level. It's not the main tour. So it's a level below the main tour, because there's the different levels. In fact, if I bring that up, if I go to tour, and then they sort of categorize this. So they have all tournaments, and they have Grand Slam. Oh, hang on, I'll just go to men, and then I'll switch to women. Yeah, so on the tour you have all tournaments, of course. Then you got the Grand Slam, which is the highest, and then you got the Masters. So there's currently 10 Masters tournaments, but of course there's the ATP Finals. So typically 9 Masters, and out of that, 3 are played on clay, 5 on hard court, and 1 indoor hard court. So essentially 6 on hard court, 3 on clay, and then there's the ATP Finals, which is also indoor hard. So nothing is played on grass. So yeah, that is a problem, I believe. And it's not played on grass because they hardly play any grass court tournaments to start with. But then, yeah, so the next level down is, of course, the World Tour. The World Tour, if you take out the Grand Slams and then you take out the Masters, then you end up with the World Tour. This is the way on-court. Hang on. No, the World Tour includes the Masters. Yeah, it doesn't. So. No. The World Tour is excluding the Grand Slam and the Masters, and there's a total of 55. There's 55 tournaments played on the World Tour. There's 10 on the Masters, and then there's 4 Grand Slam, and then you've got Davis Cup. Yeah, Davis Cup is not included in that; it's separate. But you do get, I think you do get points in the Davis Cup. You do get ranking points in the Davis Cup, and then you got. Okay, yeah. So the main tour, the 69 main tour, and that's split up by 55 World Tour plus 10 Masters gives you 65 plus 4 gives you 69. So that's the main tour, and then you've got Challenger. There's 31 tournaments on the Challenger circuit, and then you've also got Futures Satellites. So I think it's a level below Challenger, and then you've got the non-ATP events. The non-ATP events are actually the juniors, and the juniors play to the Grand Slams. So yeah, I don't know. Should they play juniors? I guess they should play juniors in Grand Slams. Does anyone actually watch the juniors? Probably not. But it is there. I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere. So typically, players that win Grand Slams would have played on the juniors. And then you can break that down into surface. So on the main tour, you've got 24 tournaments played on hard court. You've got 15 on indoor hard court. You've got 22 on clay. Carpet, of course, 0. Acrylic, 0. And you've only got 8 tournaments on grass. And out of the 8 tournaments on grass, of course, you've got Wimbledon. But then you've got also, so you've got 1, 2, 3, you've got 4 other weeks. So you've got 3 weeks prior, from the end of the French to Wimbledon, you've got 3 weeks. And there's 2 tournaments going on at the same time. So you can only compete in 3 tournaments on grass prior to Wimbledon. And then Wimbledon gives you 4 tournaments. And then there's, of course, the Newport after Wimbledon. So you can only compete in 5 tournaments on grass, even though there's 8 tournaments on clay, if that makes sense. And so, if you compare that to, say, clay and hard court, you can pretty much just play. Djokovic just plays on hard court. It's going to waste time on clay. Come on. Just plays on hard court. I'll give you an example. I'll bring up Djokovic now. I'll just go to player. Let me have a look at Djokovic. I'm going to do this. Djokovic. Does it break it? I don't think it'll break it up. I'm just going to put in Djokovic hard court, and I'll just put in 2023 to start with. This is purely experimental. It could. Okay, so he's competed on hard court. He played 28 matches on hard court, and he only lost 1. Last year, he only lost 1 match on hard court. That's how good he is on hard court. Of course, he won the US Open. He won the Cincinnati. In fact, the only match he lost was against Medvedev in Dubai, and that was the semi-finals. And he lost 6-4, 6-4. And of course, he won the Australian Open. He won the Adelaide International. And so that's all his record on hard court. And let's say, let's just change that to. I'm just going to get another filter this. Okay, I'm just going to put in. okay, so I'm going to put in 23. Djokovic on clay. In fact, he lost 3 matches. So he won 12 matches on clay and lost 3. And so yes, he won the French. He beat Casper Ruud. Lost to this guy Ruud, seeded 7. Did he win any other thing? I don't think he lost. Yeah, so it looks like. Oh, okay, so that's it. So he lost. He's played in 1, 2, 3, 4 tournaments on clay, and all he won was the French. Well, I guess that's pretty good anyway. and he need to win the French, but yeah. So you compare that to say hard court. So he's played a lot more on hard court, and he only lost 1 match on hard court, and that was to who was it? Medvedev, I think, Daniel Medvedev, who does typically play well on hard court. In fact, he beat Djokovic, didn't he, at the US when he was going for the calendar slam? Djokovic won the Australian, French, Wimbledon, and then he lost to Medvedev in the US. I think that's just pressure. I don't know. But he typically doesn't play well at the US. He doesn't have a record on the US compared to what he has at the Australian. So. Okay, so getting back to the predictions, got a bit sidetracked there, but yeah. So go to Encore.info, and just purchase a coffee. It's pretty cheap. I just think it's very, very good value, and it's just got a whole lot of statistics of everything. It's got match statistics of every match. It's just got a plethora of data of information. Okay, so yeah, Sabalenka first set at 2-1. Uh, 15 all. And so we're up to 96.6% chance of Sabalenka winning the match. 87.1 to win the set. And of course, winning straight sets, she's also got an 87.1. Obviously, Krejcikova can't win in straight sets because she lost the first set. So she has to win 3, which of course is 3.4%, which is of course her chance to win the match. And for Sabalenka to win 3 is 9.5. So you can see and the number of sets remaining in the match is 0.59. Just the fact that we're right into the set. We don't have 1 set remaining because we've already progressed within the set, and that's why it's only 0.59 sets remaining in the match. Because you expect it to be less than a set, if that makes sense. But the number of sets played in the match from because you've got 2 random variables. You've got the number of sets played, and you've also got the number of sets remaining. So there's 2 separate random variables, and the what is it? The number of so the number of sets played is equal to the number of sets remaining plus the score, something. Something along those lines. There is a direct connection there. And so time remaining, to play more than 1 hour, 13.6. To play more than half an hour, 46.2. So there's more of a chance that it'll be actually less than half an hour. And you expect that to be the case because Sabalenka is up a break 2-1 and it's on serve. So yeah, this match will be over obviously fairly shortly. In fact, it's 40-30. 40-30 on serve, 97.3%. In fact, she's just won that game now. And now we go to Sabalenka, yeah, 97.8% to win the match. And to win the set, 97.1%. Because she could theoretically still lose the set, but then of course win the next set, and that's how you get the 97.8 to win the match. Yeah, well, in terms of match statistics, I guess I could just get that off the site. I could just go to, I don't know, Australian Open site. Maybe I'll just do that just for the experience. I don't know, Australian Open. Where do I get the stats? It's come up with all this. I don't know what it's talking about. I just want to get the match stats, and I can't even get that. Here we go. Match stats. Yeah, what's this? Is this for the match? Oh, this is set 2. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I've got the stats. Yeah. So 3-1. Yeah. Aces Sabalenka. And so that's where I use these match stats in terms of in terms of using my Bayesian updating. I'd feed in the percentage points one on serve for each player. In fact, win percent on second serve, Krejcikova 14%. I mean, that's just pretty ridiculous when you think about it. But they can only be winning 14% on the second serve. I mean, she might as well just take maybe more risk, maybe just take more risk on the second serve. Because once it goes in, she's just not really winning the point. The first serve percentage of Krejcikova is 62%, and once it goes in, she's winning 57%. But just the fact she's only winning 14%, so she might as well just go for two typical first serves, first and second, even if it means serving more double faults, because she's just not winning anything on the second serve. Compare that to Sabalenka, 64% on the second serve, which is quite high, and 78% on the first serve, and first serving against 62%. Winners at 17-5. I mean, yeah, it's just a very one-sided matchup, as you'd expect by the score. Yeah, maybe it's better doing women's matches because they're only going to sort of be three sets max. And so to do men's, we could be looking at full fat outlets, which would be, it's just a lot of work. But yeah, I'll be at the tennis on Sunday at the Garden Arena. So I'll be giving comments. I won't have my calculator though, because I just have my phone. So I'll give commentary. I won't be continual, over the whole duration of the final, but I'll just give commentary as we sort of progress. I think that'll be pretty good because it is the final and Djokovic is going for the 25. Assuming he gets there, well, he's in the semis. I think so I think we'll get there, and that'll be good. Yeah. I know we'll have Margaret Court. we'll have all the controversy with Margaret Court. So if Djokovic was to get the record, we'll have Margaret Court at the tennis. I don't know. It could be quite interesting, yeah. Because she did return for the first time after 5 years, after making her sort of comments. Yeah, so the next match, Rublev plays Sinner, and Djokovic plays the winner of Sinner or Rublev. I guess Djokovic would probably prefer to play Rublev. I think he's got a better record over Rublev than Sinner. Sinner's a bit of a dark horse. I don't know. Some pretty top players along the way. You always have a dark horse. But then again, everyone was talking up Dimina, and then he loses to Rublev, given that he was up to 2-1, and then loses 6-love in the fifth set. So, I mean, yeah. But that's the best we have in Australian tennis. So we have to give full support to Dimina. Dimina, does he play best on grass? I mean, I can check, but presumably he does. We just have a look at the record. Just sort of do a bit of a. Oh no, let me just type in Dimina. How do you spell Dimina? D-E-M. Oh, there we go, Dimina. Yeah, so let's just have a look at his record. He's won 274 matches and lost 166. So he's got a 62 point. He's winning 62% on matches. His grass record is up to 66% of matches compared to hardcourt 66%. So it's pretty much even. But clay's right down. He's only winning 45% on clay. So yeah. So what that sort of indicates is yes, grass is his best surface, and that's typically the case with just about every Australian player plays best on grass. Even Ash Barty, best on grass, even though she won the French, which was somewhat, and that was the first slam that she won as well. Was it the French? Which is just pretty good effort, really, to have your best service on grass and yet win the French, particularly as your first slam as well. And then won Wimbledon after that, and then won the Australian, and also won a doubles. I don't know. But no, she didn't win the US. But so how does he go on best of 5, Dimina? Well, he's only 61% record in best of 5, and you're only going to get best of 5 in Grand Slams anyway. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, happy to lose 6-love to Rublev in the fifth set. Hang on, if I just go back to Dimina and I'll just put in Grand Slam matches to see what his record is just on Grand Slams. Okay, so he's winning 28, and he's lost 26, so he's got a 59%. So he's not doing as well in Grand Slams when you compare that overall. And because Grand Slams are best of 5, you'd probably expect him being a top player, but he's only just hit the top 10 anyway. So maybe that record will improve over time. His grass record is 1-7, lost 5. So he's got a 58% win on grass. But hard court's up at 66. So in Grand Slams, he's doing much better on hard court, or typically the Australian and the US compared to Wimbledon. His Wimbledon record is only 58%. It's not that great, but of course only 30% on at the French. So yeah, he just doesn't play well on clay, and he can't play well on all surfaces, unless you're so Djokovic. But he plays best on hard court, can handle extreme. So probably De Minaur, probably best on grass, which makes it very difficult to play on clay. And, yeah, so in terms of best of 5, yes, he's got 58%. Tiebreak? Yeah. Now his tiebreak record, he's only winning 40%. In Grand Slams, he's only got a 40% record in tiebreak. So he just can't handle the pressure, maybe. I think that's what it sort of comes down to. Can't handle the pressure. I don't know. Maybe he's another Roger Federer. He just kind of chokes. So if you can't handle the pressure, you're not going to win Grand Slams. So he needs to work on these sort of strategies. I don't know. He needs to be doing more yoga. I don't know. I mean, you don't want to be choking. Andy Murray did yoga through the success of beating Roger Federer. Michael Chain, right, highly religious, wins the French. In fact, he's the youngest player in history in the men's to win a Grand Slam. And how religious was Michael Chain? How religious was Usain Bolt? So religion, yoga. Obviously, I don't know, vegetarian diet obviously is very good as well. Novak Djokovic, very vegetarian or vegan. Serena Williams, vegan. I don't think any tennis player would be drinking alcohol. So I don't think that's an issue. Or smoking, for that matter. But yeah, meat is an issue. And caffeine or coffee. It is a drug. So I don't know. Would they be having coffee? But I don't know. They could potentially be having coffee. They're probably not addicted, but they may be having a coffee a day or something. I don't know. Are they having tea, which has caffeine, or are they having a herbal tea? Want to have a hot chocolate? Want to have a milkshake? Yes, you do need milk. I guess Djokovic wouldn't be having a milkshake because he's vegan. So even just working on these sort of strategies, it makes a difference. But yeah, that's just a really bad record. To only win 40%. If we look at his overall tiebreak record, De Minaur, is he doing better overall in tiebreaks? Well, yeah. Well, he is actually. Yeah, he's actually winning 56% overall in tiebreaks in all matches. But that's only 40% in Grand Slam. So he can't handle the pressure. He can't play Grand Slam tennis. And that's what tennis is about. And yes, he knocked out... Well, that's right. He knocked out Djokovic. In fact, I've got that match here. Where is it? Here. De Minaur, United Cup, over Djokovic. And he won 6-4, 6-4. So he didn't actually play tiebreak. And then again, well, it was in the United Cup, which is a team event. It's a bit different, I think. But yes, he did knock out Novak Djokovic, and yes, he knocked out in the semis. He knocked out as Zverev as well. So. What about the final? I don't know. I don't know the structure. But then again, yes, he beat Taylor Fritz in a round robin match in the United Cup. He lost to Cameron Norrie. And in fact, he lost to Cameron Norrie. But yeah, if you look at the match statistics in the match he lost to Rublev, then I don't know. If we break this down, first serve percentage. So he served 52%. Now that is low. That is Leighton Hewitt like 52%. Why is his first serve percentage so low? I agree he doesn't have the height. I think his service action is actually not bad. Compared that to Leighton Hewitt. Leighton Hewitt hits the ball behind him. His technique is just not a serving technique. So why is he only? Why does he only have a first serve percentage 52? I don't know. Maybe he's choking. Maybe he can't handle the pressure and he's choking on the first serve. Compared to Rublev 59, aces 6 each, double fault 6 each. Unforced errors. Well, he only hit 50 compared to 64 Rublev. Winning percentage on first serve, well, 63. Well, that is quite low. Compared to Rublev 67, second serve 50, again a little bit low, 54, could be a bit higher. And now breakpoint conversions only 3 of 16. He only had 18%, so he could not break the serve very well. So the guy was just choking. Net approaches. He won 26 or 36, so he's actually coming the net quite a bit. I think that is good. I think he took on the net, and I think his volleys is pretty good. Now compare that out of 36, 72% success rate compared to Rublev only 61. Now total points won 181 to 160. But again, I think it just comes down to that fifth set. I didn't watch the fifth set, but he was just choking. He was choking, and he lost the 6-love. And maybe that's why he was, I don't know, in the media, he just wasn't happy with his performance. And yeah, he needs to be doing he needs to be doing yoga. He needs to adopt a vegetarian diet and probably stop drinking coffee. So anyway, back to tennis, to the live tennis. Okay, yeah, a 4-3. Yeah, we're at 4-3. Oh yeah, 4-3. Sabalenka. It's only 97.3, so she's just up the break. She didn't exactly run away with the match, but it's still pretty comfortable. Seems crazy, I'm just in this kind of open kitchen area in this country. But I don't know, everyone's kind of pretty occupied, so I don't know. It's really not a big deal. Looks like I'm just, I'm just talking to a computer screen. Okay, yeah, so 5-3. Okay, no, 98.8%. During the match, 95.6 to win the set, Sabalenka. And in fact, the mean time remaining 0.19 hours. 0.19 hours, which is... Yeah. So the chance it actually goes more than half an hour is only 3.1%. Yeah. Okay, so she won the first point, and so that 98.8 shifts to 91.1. So she gained an additional 0.3% by winning the first point. And she's actually the slight favourite to win the game at 50.3% over Krejcikova, just by winning that first point. And to win the set, 96.7%. And for Krejcikova to win in 3 sets, 0.9% chance. And Sabalenka in 3 sets, 2.5%. So yeah, it's obviously Sabalenka straight sets, 96.7%. So 3 match points. Okay, so 99.8% to win the match. Well, yeah, it's 3 match points. Okay, that's the match. Thanks for coming, guys. That was the Baron Breaks. Exclusive live. Australian Open 2024. Okay,